hickey on my face. Well, like, comment, subscribe. But turns out I got bullied anyway. Sarcastic, which I don't really think is a bad thing. Oh, this shit is my jam. I sound really hypocritical saying that with a full face of makeup. Well, you're wrong. It's a really big phobia of mine and I'm not gonna go there. That's weird. I've got such a bad habit of saying okay, so. Hi guys, and oh, I never say hi guys, that's weird. So hi, and I have lipstick on my teeth. So firstly, I just want to say thanks to everyone who was asking me questions and giving me topics to talk about all over Instagram. It's been quite fun actually, because it's been interesting to see what sort of questions you've come up with and things that we can talk about. I've got my tea because, you know, might as well have a tea whilst we're having a good goss. Okay, so I've got such a bad habit of saying okay, so okay. I'm just gonna go. I've already done like all the questions. I've kind of like written them all down so I've got them here ready so I don't have to be scrolling through my phone and that sort of thing. So we're gonna head on to the first question. What are your biggest pet peeves? Okay, well, when people ask me when am I going to get a real job, or when are you going to get a part-time job, and I'm like, my job is stressful enough as it is. I don't really want to get another job and I like the job that I do, so I'm not really going to go out and get another job. When people pick up dog poop and they throw it in the tree, like, you might as well just leave it on the floor. It really stresses me out. People chewing with their mouths open, that's kind of really annoying. I think that's something that everyone hates though. People, when they just take up like the whole path, so you're like walking to town or that sort of thing, and people just stand right in the way and they're just having a chat and stuff, and I'm like, hello? When there's people behind you on a bike and they don't say excuse me, I'm like, well, you're welcome then. Like, it drives me crazy. And lastly, my other pet peeve is when the toilet roll is facing the wrong way on the holder. So like, you know, the toilet paper should roll off facing you rather than like the other way, so it's like underneath. I don't really like that. What would you name your boat if you had one? Okay, I put a little bit of thought into this. I was like, oh, what would I name my boat if I had one? Either the SAS, which is obviously my initials, which is why I'm so big into like being sassy and stuff like that, by the way, because my initials is SAS. So obviously that's not how you spell sassy or sass, technically, because it's two S's on the end, but it still says it. So that is why I'm really big on like sassy. So it was either the SAS or the Black Rose. I quite like the Black Rose just because that's really personal to me. Like, not personal, but I mean like I've got a tattoo of a black rose on my hip. I feel like that was quite mysterious too. I quite liked that one. Favourite group dance you've ever choreographed? My favourite group dances I've ever choreographed are Voices in My Head, Icy Fire, Animal Kingdom, Dungeon Dragon, OVS, Handmaid's Tale, Young and Beautiful, and One Love. My favourite solo I've ever choreographed have been Killer Queen, Pretty Hurts, and Hold Me While You Wait. What foods do you crave all the time? So pasta, Nando's, and bacon flatbreads. I'm really into eating bacon flatbreads at the minute, although I have been eating quite healthily. But about a month ago, I was eating bacon flatbreads like non-stop, and I think it got to a bit of a problem. So yeah. How often do you wash your hair? I wash my hair once a week, because any other time I'll just throw it up in a ponytail, or it needs to be slick anyway, or I'll just shove it in braids. But yeah, so I only wash my hair once a week. I'm quite lucky, I would say. I can get away with my hair not going greasy really quickly. What weird food combinations do you enjoy? Well, I had a meal done at my cousin and my auntie's house once, and they put salad cream with steak, and ever since then I've just loved that. But then when I suggested it to someone else, they're a bit like, oh, salad cream with steak, and then they love it too. So I don't know if you'd class that as a weird combination or anything, but maybe that's the weirdest combination I actually have. Although I will tell you something now, I have a very, very horrible phobia with a certain type of food. I can't even bring myself to say the word because it just makes me feel like, oh, it just makes me feel sick. Like, I hate the sound, I hate the smell, I hate the look, I hate everything about it. And it begins with a B, and they are like, you know, like tomato hoops, spaghetti hoops from Heinz. Yeah, so but yeah, it's a really big phobia of mine and I'm not going to go there, so I'll let you work that out for yourself. What would you change about yourself? This one is actually really easy because I think we all find it easier to just pick things about ourselves that we hate anyway. If I was to just go and it all be perfect, I would probably change the lower part of my stomach. So that would be the first thing I would change. However, just because I wanted this vlog to be a little bit more positive, I'm going to counterbalance it and say a couple of things that I like about myself. So I like my eye colour. It's really weird, but I like the line in the middle of my back. Everyone's got it, but I just really like that. I don't know why. And my legs. So my eye colour, my legs, and the line in the middle of my back are the things that I actually like about myself. Biggest regret in life. Okay, so kind of know what you're all thinking. Well, you're wrong. My biggest regret in life was not getting braces when I was given the opportunity to. The reason why I didn't, I was in primary, was I in primary school? I was either in primary school, like year 6, year 7 age, and I didn't because I didn't want to get bullied. But turns out I got bullied anyway, so I should have just done it. Do you work out? No, I wouldn't really say I work out, not really. Obviously I have dance as my pure exercise, but recently I have been doing some little exercises. It's not like a full-blown workout. Any tips on how to lighten your hair naturally? No. Obviously the sun can dye your hair, but also I've heard of lemons, but I don't know, I might be getting that wrong. But lemon, if you put like lemon juice in your hair or something, or that is that to get colour out? I don't know, don't count me on that one, I actually have no idea. What should you do if your friends are being mean? Maybe if you tell them that they've upset you, or you know, they've said something hurtful and you ask them about it, and just say, you know, what you said to me was really hurtful, you know, and if they come back and say, well, I'm sorry if, no, that is not an apology, and don't take that. Because if they're saying, I'm sorry if you feel like that, then that is, it's just disrespectful and I wouldn't stand for it. So yeah, it's not an apology. So I would just walk away from that. If they're not people that are supporting you and they're going behind your back, speaking about you, then I would say just remove them from your life. As hard as it is, just distance yourself a little bit, because if they were really your friend, then they wouldn't have been horrible to you in the first place. What are your goals for this decade? Okay, so I want to be successful. I want to teach as many dance schools as I can. I want to choreograph for more competitions. I would like to perform more, and I would like to go on holiday. I would also want to move house, and my biggest thing is that I really want another dog. Best online shops that aren't too expensive but still stylish. So there's Pretty Little Thing, there's Boohoo, Misguided, and Shein and Zaful. Those two are not UK based. I've ordered from them before and I've liked everything that come, and the sizing's alright, but they are the cheapest. But Pretty Little Thing is a bit iffy sometimes, because I would say some of the things are a little bit expensive and some things aren't for what they actually are. What do you miss the most about quarantine? Obviously, like everyone else, being able to socialise, being able to go out whenever I want. I feel like we've all taken that for granted. Also teaching, I kind of miss teaching. I had a break for 2 months just for own personal reasons, and you know, to get myself back on track again, and then the coronavirus happened. So if I'd have known I wouldn't be working right now, I probably wouldn't have taken the 2 months off that I already did. The thing I miss now is kind of moving forwards and progressing. Would you ever invest in a Jeffree Star James Charles palette? If so, which one? Okay, so I have the Morphe 35B palette, and that is very similar to one of the James Charles palette, because I got the Morphe one just because it was very similar to James Charles's and it was cheaper. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really wear much makeup as it is anyway. I sound really hypocritical saying that with a full face of makeup. But if I was to get a Jeffree Star, I would get Blood Sugar, because I'm more into like the reds and the oranges and like that, and reds, browns and oranges is what I'm more into. How do I stop myself going insane during quarantine? Well, I think keeping a routine is key. That is something that I've done, because in the first week I was very down. I was in my own headspace. I was really just not feeling great at all in myself, and then I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna start doing stuff. I started, you know, things that I've done is I've tidied and organised my makeup drawer. I've cleaned my car, although it wasn't very good because I wasn't really using the right products, so it wasn't really cleaning it at all, and I might as well have just not done it. Wasted time, but hey ho, it was something to do. Exercise every day. I've read a book, I've sunbathed, and make sure that you have you time. And like, so that means something like relax in the bath, or go out for a run, or go for a walk somewhere. Do something on your own. Like, get rid of social media for that time and just relax and have a bit of you time. And I think that will help you quite a lot. And make sure that you FaceTime and call your family and friends. I've never thought of myself as a sociable person. I would never go out and see my friends as much. I would rather just stay indoors and, you know, do my own sort of things, go out when I needed to teach and that sort of thing. But this summer it kind of all changed, and yeah, now I'm missing seeing a lot of more people. I'm missing seeing my friends, my family. So I think make sure that you FaceTime your friends, call your friends every day. Some more things that I've been doing is things like cooking, cleaning my room, organising my clothes drawers. Like, you should see it. I organised my knicker drawer. I have also used this time to personally work on myself and my own mental health. We all suffer and we all have our down days. We all have the days where we're just really not coping, and this is why I think I kind of want to do this vlog, because being in quarantine is really getting to a lot of people. I've been reading a book actually called The Mind Management, which I'll talk about later on. What makeup did you use? I use e.l.f., MAC, Morphe and Makeup Revolution. I think the putty primer from e.l.f. is probably the best primer I've ever used in my life. I wouldn't really say I even have any specific products that I use. I recently have just got this foundation from e.l.f. and I got it in the shade beige. I was really nervous because I don't really like to order foundations online because you don't know what colour they're going to turn out in, but I'm actually wearing it right now and I think it's quite a good match, to be fair. I was really nervous to get it in case it was either really pale and it looked like a milk bowl, or yellow. Sometimes you get something that are really yellow. I have a MAC foundation that I've never worn because it was so yellow I looked like a Simpson. It was terrible. Makeup Revolution, I don't know if you can see this, but are we ready for this perfectionist stuff? Am I getting good at that or what? Yeah, just leave it bake on your face for a little bit and then wipe off any excess and then you're done. So I think that is a really good one. And my other favourite is my MAC Fix It Mist. And also my favourite from e.l.f. is the concealer. Their concealers are, honest to God, the best concealer I've ever tried in my entire life. Those are the makeups that I use and those are my favourites. Where do you buy your loungewear outfits from? Okay, well, again, same as the shops that I mentioned before. So we have Pretty Little Thing, we have I Saw It First, Misguided, Boohoo, a shop called Loungewear, which is like all your lingerie, bralettes and that sort of thing, In the Style and Bow Avenue, and my new favourite is ARYHA. So recently I announced that I was an ambassador for ARYHA. All ARYHA's materials are sustainable. If you want to treat yourself, pick one. A new outfit, new underwear or something else. I'd probably get a new outfit, definitely. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've become quite obsessed with ordering new clothes all the time. So to be fair, recently I've actually not been too bad. I haven't really ordered many things in a very, I haven't really done a haul in quite a long time. What do you use to make your skin clear and what skin products do you use? I'm using this from e.l.f. It's the Holy Hydration Face Cream and I've been using this probably for about, why did I just type that? I have been using this for probably about a week now. You either use it before bed and let it soak in through the night, or you can put it on in the morning. I use it every morning unless I use my new little favourite, which was from Tamsin actually, because I was feeling a little bit low. She put a box by my doorstep and said, oh, look outside your door, and I got it and I read it and it was saying, I know you've been suffering a little bit with your mental health, and so I've got you all these nice little gifts, and oh my gosh, I almost started crying. It was such a nice thing to do, and this is one of the things that was in it. So it's the Mud Masky Morning Boost Mask. This is perfect. I love it. I don't overuse it because I don't like to overuse products, because sometimes you can just overuse stuff and then that's when you'll start to break out. Face masks I'll use occasionally, you know, like the little sachet ones you can get from Superdrug, Morrison's, Tesco's. Yeah, I'll use them occasionally. Again, I won't overuse those just because you can fill your face full of a lot of crap. And then every 3 days I'll use my foam-in face mask. My foam-in face mask? I'm thinking about masks now. Every 3 days I'll use my Body Shop foam-in face wash. Did I just, I don't know. So mum just come in and brought me a new tea. How did you get into dance and realise you wanted to pursue it? I joined a club when I was 9 years old and I just really loved dance. I loved going every week. You know, I would, you know, practice everything I needed to do, went to competitions with them, and yeah, it was basically how I started. Well, it was just like the whole performance side of things. Like I just loved being on stage. I thrived off performing and dancing, and that's just when I knew. I think when you know something, you know. When you know, you know. I don't really know what else to say really, because I think I just love dancing so much. Like I would, even if my mum or my dad had a camera, I'd always like prance around in front of it. I don't think I would be me if I wasn't dancing. I don't think I'd be me if I wasn't teaching. What do you miss the most about teaching? I miss being creative every week and watching my choreography come to life. I miss, you know, filming the footage that I do, because sometimes if you're filming and someone like falls over or like a fail happens or just something happens and you catch it, God, it's funny to watch back. I miss being surrounded by a bunch of supportive young people in class and just dancing and doing what they love. I love seeing the smiles in their faces when they've mastered something they've been working on for weeks. I like seeing their progression throughout classes. I like seeing them picking up different styles, you know, so it's, yeah, I miss teaching quite a lot actually. I didn't realise I'd miss it so much, but I do. Would you ever start Addict again? No. Before a lot of stuff happened, I got to a very low point in my life where I just didn't want to teach anymore. I was ready to hand it over, and I couldn't. This was like back in November. I think it was about November time. I was just like, I did not want the school anymore and it was getting me down. And it was about then when I actually realised that I wanted to progress a little bit more with it. So no, I would never start Addict again, because I like the new adventure that I'm going on now. Ooh. What would you say your biggest accomplishment? Why can I not speak? Obviously, carrying on from the previous question, since I was young, I always dreamt about having my own dance school. It was always something I wanted. I had a book where I would write down the uniform I wanted, the names I wanted. Yeah, so I think having a dream come to reality is probably the biggest accomplishment. Why can I not say accomplishment? Accomplishment for me. So as cringy as it sounds, my dream did come true. So, and I think the school was very successful as well, and I don't think I could wish for anything more than that. When are you planning on being able to drive? I had no motivation before I bought the car, which is why, you know, I saved up a lot of money and I was like, I need to buy a car. I need to buy it, otherwise I'm not going to have any motivation. So I bought the car for motivation, and I was planning on learning to drive ASAP, really. If one Todrick song was your life anthem, which would it be? I'd probably say Wig. Just because it's like, ooh, this shit is my jam. And I just really like it. I currently have hair extensions in now. My hair just never grew since I was in like year 9 high school. My hair never grew, so I have probably spent a fortune. I could probably buy a full-on mansion with the money I used to buy hair extensions. Like, don't get me wrong, my hair is actually the same length as this. It's probably, in fact, my hair, like the little bit of darker bits here, that's my hair. So like, it's actually the same length as the hair extensions itself. It's just that I use hair extensions to now thicken up my hair. Anyway, so I'm so bad at going off topic. This is so bad. So Wig is my favourite, but Heaven and Painting in the Rain are my all-time favourite songs of his. How to deal with anxiety when medication isn't working. Okay, so this is a topic that I'm quite excited to talk about, because I feel like sometimes we don't know how to talk about subjects like this. So I've never really agreed with medication for either anxiety or depression. I feel this is a mind thing that you need to continuously work on. Some things that I do is I listen to a hypnosis before bed. I went with a voice where I could just listen to, rather than sometimes, you know when you listen to someone and you're like, oh, shut up, shut up, shut up. It's like one of those. I actually really hate ASMR. Is that how you say it? I think that's right. I don't like all the nail tappings and, oh no, it probably goes through me. Ripping paper goes through me. Anyway, if you don't want to do it before bed, take time out in the day. Take half an hour out of your day just to chill in your bed, and it will just talk its way through it. Work on your breathing techniques. So things like just counting as you breathe in. So if you're going to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Have a research into the 5-second rule. Obviously it doesn't work for everyone, and sometimes it can be really challenging when you're in a bit of a panic attack or you're in an anxiety attack and your mind just like closes up. Something you always have to remember is your thoughts, your inner bully, like your inner sabotager, I don't really know the word, but you don't always have to believe everything that your mind tells you. That's something that I've recently learned. Sometimes your mind, this is everything that this book goes through. Honest to God, it is the best book I've ever read in my life. I actually hate reading. So I just want to speak to you a little bit more about this mind management book, because I feel like I'm trying to sell the product. I'm really not. Like, in this book, it talks about understanding anxiety. That was a big eye-opener for me. It talks about personalities. It covers quite a lot of things, and it makes you understand. And one of the biggest things it helps you understand in here is that you are responsible for your own chimp. Like, you're responsible for your own dog or your own cat. Like, you can't say, oh, I didn't do it and my chimp did. Like, my emotional state did. No, you need to take responsibility for your actions, and that is how this works. So I think when you can open up your mind into wanting to get better, wanting to, you know, have a better mindset, then I think this book is very good for you. It has tasks in there as well, which is what I actually really like about it. So recently there was a task on personality building. So I had to write down what I hope my personality would be, like what I want my characteristics to be. So I wrote down things like, I want to be confident, I want to be strong, I want to be independent, I want to be, you know, just things like that. And then things in reality, what I am. So in reality, I put down that I was sensitive. I tell you now, this is my logbook, which is another thing that it tells you to do. Yeah, so in reality, I put down I was sarcastic, which I don't really think is a bad thing. I like that about me. Encouraging, anxious, oblivious. And then you need to, it said to ask a friend, like a very close friend, say basically what they think of you. And I said, be honest, because it's going to help me. If there's things in there that are the same, and I can work on how to remove these from my mindset. And this is how I can become a better person, and this is how I can become better at controlling my mind and controlling my emotions. I'm going to just explain to you a little bit about anxiety, just because I remember reading this and I thought it was really interesting. There's a thing called the FFF response, okay? There's fight, flight or freeze. So fight is attack, flight is run away, and freeze is don't move. And fight is taking on the threat, flight is running away from the threat, and freeze is keeping still and hoping that the threat will go away and you won't be noticed. When the adrenaline is coupled with negative thoughts, your chimp will go into an anxiety state. So basically it happens when you panic because you don't know what to do, you don't know how to make a decision, and then you go into, oh, what do I do? The FFF, you don't know what to do, so then you panic again, and it's like a little vicious circle. So I think if you really want to start working on your own self and your own mental health, then this is the way to go. So I think if medication doesn't work, you need to start looking within, okay, because self-love and self-help starts within you. Favourite and least favourite dog breeds. Okay, well, my dream dog is a Dalmatian, but my favourite breed is obviously a Cocker Spaniel. And my least favourite are the little yappy things. So like, sorry if you've got terriers and stuff, I'm just not really a fan. Like, I love them all. I love them all, but I'm just not really a fan. I wouldn't really get myself a little terrier. How to get rid of blackheads. Okay, so I have a Blackhead Hoover, and it's like a little vacuum. So basically I'll use a warm cloth and I'll put it over my face, and I'll make sure that, you know, I can open my pores up, and then I'll use my little Hoover thing. So I remember the first time when I first started to use one of these Blackhead Hoovers, and I didn't know how to stop it or anything, and I just put it on my face, and I didn't know how to stop it. And every time I was pressing this button, I was clicking this button, and it kept sucking my skin up, so it looked like I had a hickey on my face. The worst thing ever, because then people were going, oh, what's that? Why have you got a bruise on your face? Why have you got a hickey on your face? And stuff like that, and I'm like, oh my god, it was so embarrassing. So just be careful if you're going to use them. Any plans to enter any pageants in the future? As much as I loved my experience in the why can't I speak today? As much as I loved my experience in the pageant industry, I probably wouldn't do another one again. I learned a lot from the first one, and I grew so much confidence from it. I believe now, and I say this all the time, I probably wouldn't be vlogging if I didn't do pageantry, because it made me speak to a really big audience. Like, I was always known for dancing on stage, so when I stepped on stage for the first time in heels and just catwalking, it was so different to me, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, but I don't think I would do another pageant again. Who is your hero? I don't really have heroes as such, but I am inspired by a few people. These are just typically like my friends, people who lift me up, people who support me, people who sometimes if they're people on social media I'll look up to, and if they're just doing amazing jobs and just things like that. So yeah, I wouldn't really necessarily have like a hero as such, but yeah, I do look up to quite a few people. How can I improve my flexibility? Okay, well, just make sure that you're stretching every day. This is something I tell all dancers. Stretch every day. Make sure that, like, you know your body best, so don't push yourself. If it's physically hurting so much, stop. Don't push yourself because it can cause serious damage. So when you're stretching, obviously you'll feel a pull, which is good. It's a good kind of pain. Obviously, just, you know your own body, you know the extent you can go to, and then just hold it there for an extra few seconds, and that's how you'll get flexible more and more each day. Life with a dog. Life with a dog is honestly the best thing I could ever imagined. I grew so much more confident having Ivy around, and I become a little bit more independent. Having a dog made me take her for a walk. It made me be responsible for something else. So yeah, I think life with a dog is probably the best thing that could have ever happened to me, and also it's like having a best friend that will just love you unconditionally. How to deal with body shaming. It's something I've never actually spoke about before, and it's something I'm quite excited to speak about because I've always been about, you know, the mental health side. And, you know, I've done body confidence, but I've never really spoke about it that much. So I think it's all about loving yourself, and loving the skin that you're in is a huge factor. We all do it. We all look in the mirror and go, oh, I look ugly today, or oh, God, I look a bit chubby today, or bloody hell. Like, we need to just embrace the skin that we're in, and then make changes if we want to make changes. Everyone has rolls, regardless of what size you are. Bending over a weird way, like I get rolls here. I don't like them, but I learned to live with it. I've accepted it because it's natural. Like, I remember when I was doing a lot of photo shoots once, and this was quite a few years ago, when I knew there was a photo, say if I was like arching my back a little bit and I had back rolls, back rolls, I get so down about it, and then when I see that they've edited the photo and they've cut them out, I'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. But then the more I think about it, the more I'm like, should they have done that? Should I feel happy about that? So yeah, I think it's just loving the body that you're in and the skin that you're in now. Obviously, social media doesn't hype this up the best that it can now, although there are quite a lot of campaigns now with like Misguided, I've seen, Pretty Little Thing. They don't edit the photos anymore, so you can see stretch marks. Yeah, and I think we need to just learn to love ourselves a little bit more. So something that you could help with body shaming for yourself personally is write 5 things down that you like about yourself. Like I explained before, you know, name something that you could change about yourself. I said the bottom half of my tummy. But then I counteracted it with things that I actually liked about myself. And I think if you write these 5 things down and put it on your mirror, put it somewhere where you'll see it every day, you wake up and see it and read it to yourself, because the more you start to read these things, the more you start to believe what you're reading, I think you'll learn to accept yourself a little bit more. Again, this is all a big learning curve for me as well, because I'm also in this moment where I'm just like, why shouldn't I put myself first? Why shouldn't I be happy? And sometimes, even though it's harder to follow your own advice, I think sometimes we should really take it. If there's someone else that is body shaming you, then that's a reflection on themselves, and they're the ones that have got the problem. Always think, if someone's being horrible towards you, if someone said something to you, that is a reflection on themselves, and you should never ever think twice about what they said. So that is the last question that I had, and the last topic that I had to speak about. So thank you for being here to just have a chat with me, have listened to me ramble on about a lot of things. I hope I helped in some sort of way. I hope I've given you some tips that maybe you've never really thought about. And yeah, I hope to do probably another one of these. I really enjoy these vlogs. I don't really like to go full blown like, whoa, like, comment, subscribe. Anyways, thank you for listening, and bye!